Hello everyone, and welcome to the session today about course options in philosophy, psychology and linguistics. This session is about listening to some of our current students about their experiences, and then there's time afterwards to put forward your questions for them individually or as a group. The students on this session will be talking about their own experiences and perceptions of their courses. They will not be representing the views of all students, nor the course itself. And remember that everyone's experiences are different. As the purpose of this session is to give you further information to help you choose your outside or optional courses. It's really important that you make this decision this week so that you can confirm it with your school and start your courses from next week. If you haven't already, go to the Course Options Hub, which is the web link on this page here, and I will also put it into the chat text box afterwards. But this is where you can find all of the course information on PATH and DRPS, and also work out how it will fit in your timetable with the tool of the course timetable browser. You should aim to have at least 3 different choices so that when you do speak to your school this week, you have more options in case the courses are full or they don't fit within your program. On the Course Options Hub as well, we have over 80 5-minute videos from lots of different academics from across all subject areas who are introducing you to their course. These videos are great to watch. They're very quick. They're also a great introduction to the course itself, but also the person who's going to be teaching it. So it gives you a really great insight into how the course will be taught. Some academics have also offered to hold virtual Q&A or office hours during this week, and you can search for these under the course options menu on the UOE events app by looking for any event that starts with chat to an academic. And there's lots and lots of different academics who are offering their time this week so that you can ask these questions if you have anything specific. So after you've looked at the website and the tools and watched some videos, maybe you've attended some of these sessions as well, then you will have to confirm your choices with your school or program. The deadline to choose your outside courses is the end of week 2, which is the 2nd of October. Unfortunately, in this session, we can't give you any further advice about how you're going to do this because it changes and is different per school. And your school should have provided you with instructions about how you're going to be able to do this, either in your school induction event that's taking place this week by email, it might be on MyEd or Learn or any of those places. If you haven't received any information about how you're going to make those choices, how you're going to confirm those choices, please get in touch with your school immediately so you understand what the next steps are. So this session is going to cover philosophy, psychology and linguistics. But it may not cover all courses available under this subject grouping. But hopefully our panel today can represent some of the courses that you might be interested in, or you may even find out about something you've not even considered yet. If there are other courses you're interested in, you will be able to find more information on PATH and also the videos and the Course Options Hub. But really, that is enough of me speaking. I am now going to hand you over to our current students, Jasmine, Andre and Joanna, who are going to talk about their experiences of their courses. As I said, after they've all spoken, we will open the area for questions. Please do not raise your hand or type in the chat box while the students are speaking. We'll answer everything afterwards. But with that, thank you all very, very much. And I'm going to hand you over to Jasmine. Thank you.
So hi everyone, I'm Jasmine, and a bit about me. So I come from a really small seaside town in Torquay in southwest England. No one tends to know where that is, so it's just on the map right at the bottom. I'm 20 and I'm going into my 3rd year abroad. So I'm actually in Germany right now, studying German and linguistics joint honours degree. I started at Edinburgh straight from school in 2018. I went to 14 open days. I had no idea what I wanted to study or where I wanted to go, but I came to Edinburgh as my last open day and it just felt right, and I'd never even been to Scotland before. Okay, so my interests, so I love nature and being outdoors. In my time here, I've joined the Sailing Society and the Hill Walking Society, and I like day trips in general. So the top picture is the Botanic Gardens in Edinburgh, and the second picture is North Berwick, which has an amazing hill you can climb up and beaches. And I also love languages. Obviously, I'm studying linguistics. I've been a degree representative for my joint honours course, and I've also got my TEFL certificate, which was funded by the university. So I've learned kind of how to teach English as a foreign language, and I teach school kids online, which has been really good to complement my 2 subjects, German and linguistics. I also really like music and creativity stuff, so I've been in like choirs, photography society, and written for the student newspaper. And I have two part-time jobs as an ambassador doing stuff like this and a student caller. So I ring up alumni and try and get them to donate money for scholarships for the university. And I also love volunteering, so I'm like a buddy for younger students on my degree and stuff like that. Yeah, so just quickly, like why I chose Edinburgh. So I loved the location near the sea and the Highlands, and it was really green and beautiful. The main thing for me though was that I could do three subjects in my first 2 years. So I could do German and linguistics and then like a third subject, which has been really good because I wasn't too sure what exactly I wanted to study and wanted to keep that breadth open and explore new things. I was also able to do a language from beginners with linguistics. So I did German beginners and now I'm doing it as part of my degree. And also, what was really important for me is that when I did linguistics, when I signed up to do linguistics here, linguistics was like top in the UK and Edinburgh for like the rankings of the universities, and like Edinburgh was like 20th in the world. So I felt like it was a really good place to get the degree from. And the linguistics course was really varied and was taught alongside English language for the first 2 years. And I preferred more of that English language side to linguistics more than like the scientific side. So that worked really well for me. And yeah, the facilities and like the festivals and everything around the city is so good. And I was still able to like fly home to Bristol for like an hour. So I had that space away from home, but I wasn't too far. Okay, so the more important bit, so about my courses. So yeah, I do German, I did beginners German. I won't go into German too much because this is more about the PPLS school. But linguistics, yes. So I, in my first year, did Linguistics 1A and Linguistics 1B, which were like the compulsory modules you have to do in your first year. I really enjoyed the variety of those because you do like 3 weeks of one topic with one lecturer, like I don't know, syntax, like to do a sentences, and then you do maybe another 3 weeks of like animal communication or like how children learn languages, and you switch lecturer as well. So if you don't like one lecturer's teaching style or that topic, you get to choose loads of different topics, and you start to realize that, oh my god, I hate that topic, but I really like this one, and then you can specialize more in like your second and third year into what you enjoy. It can get quite complex. I do not like all areas of linguistics, and I do tend to focus more on German, but I do find it really stimulating and it really complements my German studies. The lectures can be quite big, like 400 people, but you have tutorials feeding into those once a week, which are like maybe 10 of you. So at the start, it can sometimes be hard to find a sense of community, but they have like Lingsoc and quite a lot of the societies. And when you know where to find the support, like that the lecturers have an office hour per week where you can go and knock on their door, or you know in linguistics they're building, that's where the student support is, then they're really welcoming and you can go in and literally ask about anything. So alongside linguistics, I then did one course in my first semester of history and realised that I wanted to do languages and not history. And then in my second semester, I wanted to do beginners Italian, but it was full. So I then went for Gaelic language and culture, which I had never considered studying. And it was so interesting. I learned so much about Scotland. And then this year as my elective, I did Languages Beyond University, which is a course for languages students where we can go into a school for 1 hour a week and teach 13-year-olds like German culture and about our year abroad and stuff. And that was really eye-opening and again, kind of linked to linguistics. And then, yeah, at the moment I'm in Tübingen in Southwest Germany, just starting my year abroad. You don't have to do a language to do a year abroad. You could be doing single honours linguistics, and if you get good enough grades in your first year and you apply, you can still do a year abroad in your out of your 4th years. And there's loads of flexibility. So I'm at a university studying for a whole year because that then means I can do some linguistics as well as my German whilst I'm here, and I can do linguistics and English, which is a relief. But you could also work for a year, you could teach in a school for a year if you're doing languages, or you could do a semester at uni and a semester working. Yes. And then if you're interested in similar courses, what are my main tips? So think about your electives ahead, like Letty said at the beginning, like look on your course programs, just type in your course to Google, look on like what do I study in my course, and then like course program, and you can see exactly what you're able to take. And have a look at Path, which is like the timetable program builder, because sometimes things clash and you might not be able to take certain courses. And also just don't worry, like make the most of every opportunity, but also balance and have some rest as well. And try and see your personal tutor, who's like the member of the department who you can go to about literally anything, especially courses. I think I changed my courses every semester apart from like this current, like last semester. Right at the beginning, you have a few weeks where you can still change and find out where the support is within your department. Anyway, I will hand over now to the next person. Yes, Andrew, thank you.
Hi guys, can you see me? Can you hear me? Hopefully that's a yes. So my name's Andre. I'm from Slovakia, but I was originally accepted to do a English language and literature degree. Then I hopped onto a philosophy and literature degree, and then finally landed on a linguistics and philosophy degree. So I'm currently going into my third year of that. Why did I choose Edinburgh? Well, initially it was more of just like I knew it was a great city. I knew the university was really good, so I thought, might as well try my luck. I didn't go in like Jasmine did, having gone to all these open days and with all these options. I mostly just tried my luck and I got in. But retrospectively, like I could not have made a better choice. I really love it here. The city is fantastic. The university is honestly top class, and the program that I'm doing, philosophy and linguistics, is just so fulfilling. The linguistics part is so highly ranked. I think it's number one or number two. It's always in like the top couple in the UK and globally too. So you really have a world-class department teaching you world-class lectures. For philosophy, it's one of the largest departments in the UK. So whatever your interests are, odds are that you're going to be able to find someone who could uh, cater to your interests. So yeah, I realized how amazing a decision I made after I had already made it. So I guess I lucked out in this sense. The courses I took, I so this is depends on your definition of took. You're only allowed to take 3 courses a semester. I kind of convinced my tutor to let me take 4, and I also squeezed my way into some of the other ones. By squeeze my way, I mean audited, and by audited, I mean I was like physically present for some of the lectures, but not all of them. So I have a rough idea of a lot of the course content without having to have done a lot of the assessment or any of the assessment really. And as Jasmine already talked a lot about linguistics, I'll try to focus my attention more on philosophy, and so as not to cover the same ground and just give you more scope. In terms of linguistics, I took the first year courses L1A, L1B, and the second year courses L2A, L2D. These names to you right now must be really confusing. Basically, L1A, L1B are compulsory for all first year linguistics students, so don't worry too much about that. L2A, I think, is also compulsory for all linguistics students, or at least it was last year. It's basically an overview of the linguistics of English language. So you do some phonology, some syntax, and some semantics. It's basically like the absolute basics you have to know in order to then specialize in whatever other field you might want to do, even if it's not related to the 3 I just mentioned. And I also audited, and then L2D was my second semester linguistics course, compulsory course. That was cross-linguistic variation. We basically looked at the structure of language as a thing rather than any particular language, like English, like we did in the first semester. And we looked at the underlying structure of all of language as such, and we looked at different examples from different languages from all across the world. We were looking at African languages, we were looking at indigenous languages in Australia, where like it was really so comprehensive in terms of the ground that it covered. And then for philosophy, I did morality and value, grades, and logic in my first year, which were all compulsory courses, and mind matter and language and knowledge and reality in my second year, which were also compulsory courses. And in terms of auditing, I audited L2B, C, and E, which were the other optional courses for linguistics in first year, and then philosophy of science for philosophy in my second year. I really loved philosophy of science. If it's an optional course, but if you have the room, then I recommend you take it. The lecturer for that, amazing. He is so friendly, and his lectures really gave me so much. And especially now that, for whatever reason, science is still so hotly debated, it is very relevant, even more so now with COVID and the scientific questions surrounding that. So, I sort of talked about this already, but just to point out some things which are common to all the first year courses. They're ab initio, which means you don't have to have any previous knowledge. You can just go in. There's as Jasmine already talked about, there's a wide diversity of topics. It's less reading intensive than some of the second year courses, so you will have more free time in your first year than you will in your second year. But then that also means that they will be expecting you to really know the ground that they cover, the material that they cover, and it will start to build up. So if you fall off the wagon, you skip out 2 weeks, then you might have a harder time getting back on the wagon. And the fact that there is such a wide variety of courses also means that you might not vibe with everything, but it is all essential for you to know in your following years. So I would really try to, even if you don't really like whatever it is that you're doing right now, just to try to internalize it as much as you can, because it will help you later on. In the second year, the courses build on the courses in the first year, but they're more in depth. As I mentioned previously, Level 2A, the one about the structure of English, that you start diagramming English sentences. You look at all the various different ways that you can form a sentence in English. And there's also more flexibility in terms of the courses that you pick. So you don't, whereas in the first year you have to do Level 1A, Level 1B. In the second year you can pick which, or even if you do another linguistics course in your first semester, and then which linguistics course you do in your second semester. Actually, no, if you're doing linguistics, you have to do Level 2A and Level 2D. But if you want to do more linguistics courses, you can pick which ones you want to do. And if you don't and want to sort of supplement that with something else, then you totally can do that as well. In terms of philosophy, as I mentioned, that is also ab initio, no previous knowledge required. There's a ginormous variety of topics that you can that you cover, so you will definitely be able to find your niche. But it is more reading intensive than philosophy is, and more so than reading things and getting like encyclopedic knowledge of philosophy. You go more to how to do philosophy, how to think like a philosopher. And in second year, you of course do more advanced topics. There's different lecturers than in your first year. So big philosophy department, you really get to meet all these different specialists from all these different fields. So depending on whether you prefer to have the same person teach you all year, or if you prefer different people, you might like this more, or you might like this less. The tutorials are a lot more helpful because you to go into a lot more depth, so you really start to actually feel like you're getting somewhere, as opposed to the first year courses where you mostly just touch the surface. And you'll find this a lot doing your philosophy degree, that the more you get into it, the more you feel like you're actually finally getting some tangible result of your inquiry, rather than just pointlessly debating questions that you might feel like don't actually lead anywhere. And my last point is that second year philosophy courses really are a lot more challenging. There's a significant increase in difficulty. So first year courses are a lot easier in that sense. Second year courses, you really start to specialize. So a lot of people discovered by their second year that they don't really like philosophy, that it's really not for them. So keep that in mind into your optional courses in your first year, so you do have something to fall back on in terms of if philosophy doesn't work out for you. And the essays are also a lot more challenging. So with that, I will hand the baton over to Joanna.
Hi everyone, welcome to the session, and thank you so much for joining us. A very warm welcome to the University of Edinburgh. I really remember my first welcome week, and I can only imagine how excited you might be to begin your experience. I'm sure this is not how you pictured your start, and that you may even be a little nervous, but I hope these sessions and all the other fantastic online events on offer will help you settle into university in those very extraordinary circumstances. So my name's Joanna, I'm 22 years old, and I first came to the university in 2016, and I'm now a final year undergraduate psychology student. I'm an international student. I'm originally from Germany, and I'm actually joining you from Berlin, so greetings from Berlin, where I've spent my summer doing a research internship. Actually, I will also be spending my next semester here, so a little tap of camaraderie there for everyone else studying remotely for the coming semester. We're all in this together. When I prepared the presentation, I took a chance to really delve into some nostalgia and look through some old photos, listening to some Scottish music with the Proclaimers 500 miles and all of that. And I found this picture of me in the red sweater on the right from last year's welcome week, so maybe a little tie-in to times where we could still welcome you face to face. I've been at the university for 3 years and I've taken quite a few courses, both psychology related and not, and I'm really happy to give you a bit of an insight into my experience. Besides academia, I've been involved in a variety of mostly musical societies, so like the a cappella picture there on the left. I've been in some sports clubs and I've absolutely loved exploring Scotland and Edinburgh. I came to Edinburgh for a variety of reasons. Most of them were rather logical and practical. I've not been to any of the open days, and I knew I wanted to get an international degree in English. And Scotland just made sense for me because I didn't have to pay tuition then with the European citizen stuff. I know all of that's changed, but it did make sense then. Scotland was my top choice also because I'd been there before for exchange and I absolutely loved the language, the culture, nature. And also, I knew the University of Edinburgh was internationally renowned for its excellent research, their beautiful culture, beautiful nature, and I've just really, looking back, it's a great decision I made. I've really enjoyed my time in Edinburgh. The city's wonderful. There's music and literature, film, friendly people, great accents, and there's just nature really, really close by. And I'm kind of missing it sitting here in Berlin now. I hope to be able to return semester. Also, already a little shout out to my favorite cafes. Would you want to take a note of that? Both of these have made relevant accommodations, so maybe check out Brew Lab, that's just off Southbridge, or Beetroot Sauvage, that's in Newington. It's really nice, like vegan, holistic hangout spot. So good stuff to be found. I hope you have a great time. So to get to the actual important stuff, one of my favorite parts of Edinburgh was really the flexibility I had with my courses in first and second year. I'm not sure all of the courses I'm talking about here are still on offer, but my message is one of encouragement for you to really try new things in addition to your main subject. You may be here because you're doing psychology, linguistics, or philosophy as your main degree. You may not. Either way, I'm really encouraging you to broaden your perspective and try out new things. I did a variety of outside courses. I've only listed the ones within philosophy, psychology, and language sciences on here, but I also did a biology course called Cells to Organisms. I did European cinema and musical courses. I did some sociology, lots of different outside courses. This was really, really great for me to complement my main studies in psychology, and it really helped me manifest my perspective as an aspiring psychologist. It showed me how other disciplines approach similar questions and also made me appreciate my choice of psychology even more. So the Psychology 1A and 1B and the Research Method and Statistics 1, those courses were quite broad. That was my first 3 courses. Those are the mandatory courses for the psychology degree as well, and they contained components of neuroscience, cognitive psychology, different aspects related to language and memory, developmental psychology, social and personality psychology, a little bit of clinical, so really a really broad overview of all the different parts of psychology. In second year, you do a similar thing, but go further in depth. So 2A and 2B are the mandatory courses for the psychology degree there. Should you want to take these courses, so Psych 1A, 1B, 2A, or 2B as outside courses, do make sure to check the DRPS, so the degree program regulations about any prerequisites. So you may only be able to take 1B. Are you taking 1A? And I also know that a lot of these courses are really high in demand, so it may be a good idea to check to do your course choices quite early on, because a lot of the psychology courses did fill up quite fast when I was doing them. Yeah, so all about the research methodology and statistics. I know this is currently being overhauled for a lot of the psychology students to start doing statistics early on to get a better overview. So this will be a different structure, and I think you may have some more mandatory courses in there, which honestly is pretty good. I think it's good to get a good grounding in statistics as early as you possibly can. Right. So also, I put some more course names on the bottom of the slide. So for example, the methods and controversies in parapsychology, the psychology of mental health, or the close relationships course. All of these are not first and second year courses, but this is just me being really excited about my degree and wanting to give you an insight of what may be to come should you decide to continue doing psychology. So for example, Science of Close Relationships is one of my absolute favorite courses from my third year, where we talked about how the relationships we have come to be, how they manifest in different aspects in our life, and how we can be happier in our relationships. So really big fan of the psychology I did there. Yeah, I also did a philosophy course, which Andre also touched upon. I did the grades course, where we did a really nice overview of some of the big names in philosophy, which I really enjoyed to get an insight into philosophical thinking and essay writing, which really was very different to the way we were writing in psychology. We covered Plato, Socrates, Descartes, and Kant, just really good stuff. So again, try to go beyond your own discipline and really find out what interests you. And that leads over to my top tips for choosing courses. Number one is choose what really interests you. Nothing is too random. Like this year, first and second year, this is your chance to explore what's out there. There'll be plenty of useful subject combinations, and there's some choices that may sound really like academically smart. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the more random is the better, but I do believe this is your chance to be as broad and as specific as you can be. Like just that combination of all of the different things will make you a better student. Like I did the most random course choices. I know about the gene expression in mice, and I know how like a harp is built in all of my outside courses. And I'm sure that's not necessarily what I will be talking about in my future career as a psychologist, but I do think it's made me a better student and a more well-rounded person. Top tip number 2 is find people you can work with. Studying is much easier if you're not doing it on your own. It's just really an independent tip from whatever course you'll be doing. It's great to talk about what you're learning with other people. It'll make you like keep you accountable, improves your studying, help you make friends, all that good stuff. Also, there may be some assessed group projects further sooner or later, so it's a good idea to start learning how to work well with others. Next top tip is to get organized early on. I'm a big fan of organization and being able to structure one's time to make the best of it. I really highly recommend getting an overview of your courses and reading lists and assessment structures really early on, and to find some method of tracking your progress in the course. So maybe you want to get a specific calendar, try out paper stuff to try it on your laptop, just to really get organized. And it may take some time for you to figure out how to best organize yourself. That's perfectly fine. Just start early and take your time. You'll definitely find your way. And my last point is to have fun and not take it all too seriously. This is pre-honors, it's your first and second year. You've just arrived at university. This is the time where you could really explore your academic interests. You can find out what study methods work for you. You don't have to have it all figured out just yet. It's perfectly fine. Just take your time to settle and find your place within the university community. Get to know yourself. And these grades usually don't count yet in first and second year. You'll be fine. Settle, have fun, and I just wish you all the best. That is for me. I hope I could give you a bit of an insight into the student experiences and how your optional course choices might play into that. I wish you all the best for your time in Edinburgh. We're really happy to have you, and I'm handing back over to Leslie.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for sharing your experiences there. It's been really useful to hear about all of the kind of the subjects and the courses involved, and I hope that's been really useful for our